Okay, so when we're talking about malware, that's any kind of software that has some sort of malicious intent. Okay, there's different categories of malware. Okay, and there's also some great anti-spyware packages that are available, like anti-malware. So you have malware bytes, which is really awesome. That's BYTES. I use that on my machines, and it catches things, before they can hurt your computer. I really recommend it. Like, I liked it so much, I actually paid for it for the first time this year rather than just using their free trial. Okay, but anyway, if you hear talking about adware, adware is obnoxious. Okay, if you get this installed on your machine, a lot of times it comes sort of built in with other software that you're downloading or installing on your computer. You may just skip, click next, 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 next during the installation process. When you're doing that, you don't notice when they try and sneak in little fun things like toolbars, or they might call it something else. I just had one called like Open Candy. Okay, it's adware, and what it does is it displays a bunch of ads. So these banners are popping up on your screen. It'll change your desktop background. It'll change your home page. It just does all this annoying stuff on your computer. Okay. We also have spyware. Okay. Spyware is an unwanted program that downloads with other software from the internet and runs in the background. So again, it can sort of sneak in with some software you actually want to install. Okay, what it can do, basically it transmits information about you. So what websites are you visiting? If there's a keystroke logger part incorporated, all your keystrokes are being logged, all of them. Okay, so it knows when you visit this website, and this is what you typed in. So now username and password, etc. A lot of these spyware programs use tracking cookies, so there's a lot of things you can also do to help yourself to avoid this kind of stuff. Make sure you have some sort of anti-spyware, anti-malware software installed on your machine. Pay attention to cookies, things like that. Other online annoyances, okay, spam, so junk email. This has been coming around since like the beginning of time. Okay, not really. But pretty much once the internet got up and going and people were starting to use it, of course, people want to find a way to blast you with advertisements. Okay, and so what's happening here? It's just junk. It's ads. Okay, sometimes they even come with like viruses built in. So it's a good thing to check your spam folder. For example, like in this example here, I'm sure that Quora Digest is probably not supposed to be in spam. Okay, that's like a legitimate way of conversing with other people, answering questions, getting answers to your questions. If you use your Highlands email, definitely be sure to check your spam folder often. It's called junk on Outlook. I made the mistake of not checking that because I never really had any problems with important emails going there until about, I'm going to go with last week. And I checked my junk folder and found nearly 300 emails that were important, valid emails that for some reason Outlook decided were junk. So a lot of times, yes, you're going to have a bunch of spam in there, but a lot of other times too, the filter catches things that shouldn't be in there. So always good to check your spam folder. When we talk about cookies, cookies are just these small little text files that are received when you visit a website. Okay, and yes, they track you. Okay, they really don't pose any sort of like security threat, but yeah, they can definitely invade your privacy. Okay, a lot of times, I think they're required now to tell you that they're going to, install these cookies if you visit their website, and by visiting their website, you're agreeing to the cookies being installed on your computer. So once these cookies are installed, companies can then determine, how great is their marketing. Okay, the companies are looking at the traffic that's flowing through their website. All right, cookies don't go through your hard drive like in search of personal information, but again, it comes down to privacy. So sure, you can say, yeah, sure, okay, I'll agree to your cookies, but then you can also have your browser set up so that when you close out your browser, it deletes all cookies. And so that stuff won't be stored on your machine, and the cookie won't be able to track what you go on to do online. Okay? Social engineering. Basically, social engineering is just any technique using some kind of social skills to generate human interaction. Okay? Now that's pretty much right, as like generic as it comes. The way social engineering is used as far as online annoyances, things like that, is to reach out, human to human, whether it's via email or via like even phone calls, and to scare you, okay, to install some sort of, to play on the fear, okay, fear. They'll call you and say, you owe for some old credit card or something that you don't have any idea about, and they're threatening you and telling you if you don't give them the payment now, they're going to call the police and have the police come to your work and blah, blah, blah. Like, this has happened to me also. So don't give out any information. Okay, it's scary to get those calls out of the blue. They call you at your work. They know your name. Okay, it's because they've gathered some information about you in order to try and get you to pay them money. So always be cautious. Don't give out information over the phone or via email. If you get an email from someone saying, hey, Jessica, I'm stuck in London, and oh my gosh, I got mugged. I don't have my passport anymore. I don't have my wallet. I have no way of getting home. Is there any way you can wire me some money? Blah, blah, blah. And this is coming like from a legitimate looking contact in your, in your contact book. Again, something else has happened to me. Okay. And it was all just nonsense. So it's people playing on your fears in order to get you to give up sensitive information or money or all kinds of things. Okay. Phishing. This is what I was just basically talking about. Okay, phishing lures internet users to reveal personal information. Right? Farming actually occurs when the malicious code is planted on your computer, and in order to gather that information. Okay, and then there's some guidelines to avoid these types of schemes. So never reply directly to any email that's asking for personal information. Don't click on the links in those emails. A lot of times, if you're not sure, you're like, is this a legitimate email or not? I don't know. I get some really good looking fake emails that look like they came from PayPal, which is acts as a sort of middleman as far as like paying for things online. Okay, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, is it really? And then all you need to do is look at the actual email address that it came from. A lot of the time, it's going to be some nonsense. Obviously not paypal.com or, iTunes.com or whatever. That's one key. Another thing you can look at the link that they include. Usually they'll be like, click this link, you need to change your password because some sort of security violation has happened. And the link looks legit, it says paypal.com. It's super easy. I mean, you can do that in your sleep, okay, to make a link look legitimate on as far as its face value. However, if you just take your mouse and hover over the link, you'll see the actual address that you're getting sent to, and that is going to never be what it says it's on there. So don't click on that stuff. Okay, check with the company that's asking for information. So if you get an email, one of these phishing emails, like again from say your bank, supposedly, or PayPal or whomever, call the company directly. Do not reply to these emails. Like, call the company and ask them, like, what's going on? Did you request this information from me? Etc. A lot of times they're going to say, nope, that wasn't us. We would never request personal information from you, either over the phone or through email. Okay. don't put out your personal information online unless you know the sites are secure. Okay, like here's healthcare.gov. You want to see this secure site. You want to see this HTTPS right here. You want to see this closed padlock. Okay, make sure the site is secure. Keep your filters on, so like your phishing filters, okay? And use internet security software that's constantly being updated. I was telling you like about my Malwarebytes. It updates every hour. And no, it's not any long process. I don't even know what's happening, but that's how often new threats are popping up. So it's always updating. Scareware comes under this topic of social engineering. Okay, again, playing on your fears, playing on your emotions. Okay, scareware is a type of malware that downloads itself onto your computer, and then it tries to convince you that your computer is infected with the virus. So it's like flashing up this crazy red alert box, and it's saying, you know, you have a virus. You need to click here in order to be connected to Microsoft to fix it. Or, you know, your whole screen will pop up and, you know, like the blue screen of death and say you have a virus. You have to do this, this, this. Okay. We click on these links because people get scared. And then you're directed to these websites where you can buy like fake removal or antivirus tools, okay, that don't do anything. You just pay them for nothing, okay? And then usually you pay and the stuff is still on your computer, so just be aware of this stuff, okay? Again, if you get a virus on your computer or have some malware on there, you can still download like Malwarebytes, run a scan, it's going to quarantine it, and usually take care of those files for you. And if you're already running security software before that, perfect. It should catch this stuff and let you know that you know, your computer's been infected and what you need to do in order to take care of it. Okay, so how do we restrict access to our digital assets? Okay, firewalls are super important. Basically, think of it like this, and it'll be a lot easier to sort of understand. Okay, so like this big brick wall, right? It's serving as a wall between your computer and the network. Okay, and basically, they can be software, they can be hardware. You can be running both. You can have a hardware firewall as well as a software firewall. What they do is they protect you. They help to protect you from hackers. Okay. Both Windows and Mac OS include very reliable firewalls that are should always be on. If they turn off for some reason, then at least Windows is going to let you know. I'm sure Mac OS does the same thing. Okay. The Windows Action Center is a really good source of information about the security settings on your computer, so including the status of your firewall. So you can see you go to Control Panel, System and Security, and then Windows Firewall. Okay. Firewalls can be configured so that they filter out packets that are sent to these specific logical ports in a process known as packet filtering. Okay. Again, logical ports aren't actual like physical ports where you plug anything in. These all have to do with data packets and things like that that are, you know, coming in and going out of your network. Okay, like imagine them as like sort of like tunnels, I guess, from your computer to the internet. So these imaginary things, like you can't touch them. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, you can also configure your firewall to completely refuse requests from the internet that are asking for access to specific ports. Okay, this process is known as logical port blocking. Okay, and the way the firewalls work is they just use this process called network address translation. And what it does is it assigns these internal IP addresses on a network. Okay, I'll move on to the next slide after this.